hi, Gia here.
Hi,
Hi.
Ji-hye.
So what's it like over there at the ministry?
Well, the intense anticipation has been building up, but it has already subsided. Right now, we've already passed noon, and the media briefing room at the Defense Ministry looks pretty quiet right now. But
Ever since yesterday, we had reporters coming in a day ahead just to grab seats and just really secure camera positions. And we've had really dozens and dozens of cameras in here and just really giving live feeds at different stations. So there's been a very big media hype over this issue this morning. People showed up as early as 5 a.m. to just show up, and I got here at 7. The room was packed. But right now, since North Korea said it will probably launch the rocket between 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. and after 12 p.m. most people have, headed out for their lunches, and things are looking pretty quiet here again.
Right, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, Hannah. I'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
The South Korean government has confirmed that the rocket left the launch pad, but after just a few minutes, it broke up in the air and fell into the West Sea. For more details, let's first connect with our Defense Ministry correspondent Kim Han-ul, who is standing by at South Korea's Defense Ministry. Han-ul.
The Defense Ministry has confirmed that the North Korean rocket has failed, and it confirmed also that the remains of the rocket has fell near the waters off the West Sea. The Defense Ministry correspondent Defense Ministry spokesperson, that is, Kim Min-seok, announced earlier that the North Korean rocket has been fired at 7:39 a.m. on Friday.
Hi, Jie. Well, today it was a pretty chaotic morning this morning as a reporter just rushed in with the breaking news of North Korea's rocket launch. And as I was saying, it was kind of predicted, but not really, because most people thought the launch was going to happen yesterday. But there were some areas, there was some room of possibility that it might happen today, but people were running around and setting up tables, the one that I'm sitting in front, and it was just a very chaotic moment. And there were live feeds going on every hour, every minute. There were new news information coming up every 10 minutes. There were just really abrupt press briefings happening. So it's been a very eventful day so far, and we really expect this to continue. The reporters have been just really scrambling for seats and just getting better camera positions, and we hear people shouting and just trying to get their stories out. So it's been a very eventful day here at the Defense Ministry.
Hello guys, it was another hectic week here in the newsroom. Let's begin with the general elections, touted as one of the most competitive races in the Korean political history. I mean, it was supposedly a public holiday for a lot of the Koreans here, but what a day it has been for us. Any words? Were you guys surprised about the outcome of the election?
Oh, I was.
You were in the field.
Yeah,
right?
I was at the Saturday headquarters, the ruling party headquarters.
Yeonji, who is standing by at the Henry headquarters. Hello, Yeonji, what's happening over there?
Hi, Daniel. It is crazy over here. The people's eyes are glued on the TV screens because the results of early exit polls are just coming out. When the exit poll results were first announced, they were happy that they won a same range, about the same number of seats. But then later results show that the Democratic United Party is doing slightly better. So I hear more of gasps, audible gasps, and their disappointment.
You know, when the early exit poll results came out at 6 p.m., like these people, you know, actually the ruling party expected that they would lose, you know, by probably a big margin. So they were like, you know, letting out sighs and, you know, disappointment. And then that's when I got connected live, you know, with our news center. And I just said, oh, there are, you know, gasps, audible gasps, you know, I hear they are very disappointed that they might lose in key districts. But then it turns out, you know, hours later, the ruling Centre Party became the #1 party again. And so, surprise,
Certainly
surprise,
unexpected,
surprise.
right?
Yeah.
But then the live thing, how did that go? Were there any challenges? It must have been
Boy,
crazy.
yeah, it was a challenge. First of all, their situation room within the headquarters was so tiny, very, very tiny. I think that was like probably 1/3 of the DUP party situation room. But then, like, even very early in the morning, like all journalists and photographers were like already filled the room, the small room, and it was just a battle. Just when we did, you know, the live connect, like I got ran over by some ajashi, by some mister, and then that just, you know, viewers could see that even, and I didn't even realize at the time, but. Yeah, it was quite the war, and I didn't have the information ready. I wanted to say something, inform the viewers, but on site, I just couldn't do that.
I mean, keeping up with the tally must have been one thing. I mean, the figures had to be correct. I mean, other broadcasters in Korea have made some little boo-boos with the numbers. But I mean, keeping up with the scores, I mean, they've done a great job, I think. I mean, how was it?
We were kind of surprised at first. We were waiting for 6 p.m. just to we had our papers ready to get our numbers down, but then we had 3 different sources and they had different numbers, so we kind of panicked. We were like, we didn't expect that, so we were like, which number should we follow? And one of the producers came, there was like, just follow this one, and we were like rewriting one again and like running to the reporters, like sending the information.
How about you?
Yeah, same thing. Basically, it was really chaotic from 6 p.m. yesterday because the exit polls came out right after 6 p.m. So yeah, basically we had to help our senior colleagues keep them updated with the latest figures, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Were
I was
you
enjoying.
here all throughout the night, or?
I was here until the 12 o'clock news, and we also prepared some sound bites of the leading candidates. Yeah, especially Moon Jae-in, he's one of the presidential hopefuls of the DUP party. And
did he say anything interesting?
oh, he just said, yeah, thank you for people who voted for me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Very original.
Yeah, very interesting. But we were running out of time, so yeah, it was really hectic. But somehow we managed it.
Yeah, I think that's the gem of being in the newsroom,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And okay, every week it seems that we come across 1 or 2 very grim and unpleasant news. And last week it was obviously the school killing in the United States, and this week it was a mishandling of a rape and murder case in Suwon. My goodness. There we go. I mean, Yeonji, you're shaking your head. What can you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to, you know, learn about this case until like late Sunday. And actually, I was working here, you know, for Sunday News, and my, you know, colleague Ji-won just brought up this article saying, "Oh, this is terrible," and she was like furious. And I asked her, "What's wrong?" And this horrible murder rape case, which was not handled properly by the police, and just. I mean, there were so many chances for this victim to live, you know, had the police handled the case like more promptly, and you know, but they didn't even give a shot. I feel like, so I felt very.
She was giving them the exact location where she was held at, and I guess they had no. The only thing they were asking was, "Where are you? Do you know the rapist?" Obviously, we don't know the rapist, but I mean, I think she was brave enough to buy time and have the nerve to close the door and make a call. And this even led to the resignation of the police chief, one of the top headlines. Right, unpardonable. All right, let's move on to the economic front, where Sung-hee has lots to say.
Do I?
Sung-hee, producer price growth, what does this mean?
Well, producer price is the price that the domestic producers pay when they sell their stuff.
Producer prices in Korea grew at the slowest pace in 2 years last month, a hopeful sign for consumers. Data released by the Bank of Korea on Monday showed that the producer price index in March rose 2.8% from a year earlier, down from the 3.5% growth posted in February. The central bank says the slower growth in producer prices is in line with slower growth in the cost of petroleum products. And analysts say slower producer price growth is a welcome news for the country's consumers. March marked the first time in 19 months that consumer price growth dropped to the 2% range. Analysts say the recent slowdown in price growth may lead to a rate freeze for the 10th consecutive month in April, when the central bank makes its decision on the nation's key interest rate later this week. 황성희, Arirang News.
A slowdown in the growth rate means that it could lead up to a slowdown in consumer price growth, because it means because companies pay less to make their products, there is a possibility that the companies will readjust their prices, make it cheaper for consumers, which will hopefully lead up to a slowdown in consumer prices. And that's a big problem in the Korean economy right now.
So is it safe to say, it looks optimistic for the consumer prices stabilization?
Well, can you read my face? I talked to some experts, and they said this could be a seasonal thing, and also because last year at this time the prices jumped very high, so if you compare the figures, it could be a one-time thing, but still a slowdown is not a bad sign. So
I see. Well, hopefully these are all positive signs for the Korean economy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again, guys, for the input as always. I think we deserve a break over the weekend, and looking forward to seeing you guys back here again next week with more stories.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
저희는 할 일을 다 했고요. 이제 선택하시는 것은 여러분이십니다.
사람도 있고 뒤에 빌딩 이렇게 있으니까 괜찮은데.
80%까지.
A lot of people are here and they're watching and they're listening to them. So I think it shows well that I'm at the scene and that I'm here to bring the viewers the news right from the scene. We got here at around 10 a.m. because we were aware that there's going to be a lot of journalists here today because of the exit polls, and this is a humongous election, What I was doing was keeping up with the voter turnout every hour, and then keeping up with any major news that I might have to include in my 4 o'clock live.
So the DMP has been encouraging people to go out and vote, become the majority, and become the #1 party.
지금 한번 말씀해 주실래요? And next we go to our political correspondent Lee Ji-yoon. Ji-yoon, how is the atmosphere over there right now?
Well, Daniel, like you said, we just have 2 hours to go until the polls close here at 6 p.m. here in Korea. And the Liberal Opposition Party sighed with relief as the voter turnout surged in the afternoon. 깜짝 놀랐어, 진짜. We almost had a humongous accident at 4 because my earpiece, it didn't work. couldn't hear anything. Thankfully, I went on air right on time, I guess, but I don't even know how I went through with this. We have about 30 or less than 30 minutes left until they announce the exit poll result. The total voter turnout for now, as of 5 p.m., 4 p.m.
그러니까 정 안 되면 아까 처음에 한데 거기서 그냥 이쪽 백으로 해가지고 그러니까 새누리당은 그렇게 안 돼요. 왜냐면 여기 앞에서 못 찍는데.
근데 이거 신발 벗고 올라가겠다 그럼. I'm just glad I got it over with, and I gotta now head back to the studio because I gotta go on air over there for 22 and 24 when the actual results start coming out. So.
Take us away with those numbers.
Alrighty, well, where should I begin? I mean, there's so many numbers for me to tell you, but we'll begin with the voter turnout. The final voter turnout for the 19th general election stood at 54.3% in today's elections. Overall, things went okay, and I hoped it would have been better, but I mean, the presidential election is still ahead of us and in December, so hopefully we'll do better then. And I think one big thing that I lost covering this general election is probably my sleep. So hopefully after all this is over, I can just go to bed and get some sleep. That's all I want to do. So yeah.
So what a dramatic day it was from start to finish. I mean, were you guys surprised by the outcome of the general election?
Yes. It was a roller coaster ride. I mean, when I was delivering the 18 news, the early exit polls, actually what it showed on screen was it had a window of 131 seats to 147 for the ruling Saenuri Party and exactly the same for the main opposition. So I was baffled to deliver that, and we really had no idea how the outcome would come out like.
When I first saw that, I thought something was wrong. I thought they copy and pasted it.
Oh, right.
I thought the results were totally wrong, and then I checked it again, and it was the same results. And I was like, wow, this really is going to be a neck and neck race.
Right. I mean, today we obviously everyone had to check the front page of the newspaper, and it showed a surprising comeback of the ruling Saenuri Party. I mean, who would have thought? Because I mean, this is a huge departure from the previous predictions that the DUP and the UPP, the Liberal bloc, would get an easy win. So that was quite a surprise.
Very big surprise, and that, of course, gives a big boost for the ruling party's, I guess, queen of elections, they call her, Park
You know, I'm very surprised.
I mean, everyone seems to be attributing the favorable win of the Saenuri Party to Park Geun-hye. I mean, she has been on the forefront of this campaign in particular, and she's been trying really hard to rebuild the image of Saenuri, giving the new name, the new image, the new people. So I guess it all paid off at the end of the day.
And she had the bandage on her right hand because from the excessive handshake.
And that's actually really interesting because, you know, experts had widely also predicted that SNS would play a big role in this year's elections, but you know, like in the end, it proved that just the regular old school handshaking, meeting everyone, you know, person to person really worked out, and that gave her Park Geun-hye the win, and of course the bandage on her hand. Yeah, so that was really interesting as well.
Right. And I think also the last minute, that raunchy and slanderous remark by DUP candidate Kim Yong-min, that did much damage to the DUP, I think.
Yeah, mudslinging there, yeah.
But
I mean, a lot of people predicted that this was going to be a strict judgment on the incumbent government, but that was only shown in the Seoul area and its surrounding regions. But nationwide, if you look at it, the ruling party basically secured their own stronghold. Like Gyeongsang Province, Gangwon Province, and Jeolla Province, of course, went to the Democratic United Party. So I think that's also interesting. The people in the Seoul metropolitan area are not so happy about the government, but rest of the nation, I guess, not really okay with the government, I guess.
But also, it was actually, as for the Democratic United Party, of course, they did lose a majority to the ruling party, but still, they did manage to secure more seats this time around than previous parliament. So we expect there to be more of those political arguing and fighting going on in the National Assembly. Yeah,
I'm sure. I mean, I think that the most important thing to consider now is what's next. I mean, for each party. I mean, Saenuri, obviously, I mean, they need to really calm down. And I guess, I mean, the presidential race is just 8 months away in December, and anything can happen within that time frame, right? So I guess the DUP and the Liberal Bloc has to really consolidate power to, put another game with the ruling party. And the ruling party obviously have to deliver the support for the presidential candidate, whoever it's going to be.
Yeah, so everything was so exciting, so unknown and uncertain. And that was, that's always the joy of delivering the news, right?
So
it was all
we
live
had fun.
and,
Exciting.
It was a bit chaotic in the office, but I think we managed it quite well. Yeah, we should give ourselves credit for that. All right, great work, guys. See you guys back here next week.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
NG 하셨죠? 이거 들어가야 되는데.
Results from the 19th general.
화이트도 보는데요? 와, 말해요? Watching me?